Hello. I'd like to tell you a story. I think it's a good metaphor. Uh, so, I had the good fortune of being invited to come to a friend's ranch in Colorado. And she has several horses that, um, and so she said to me one day, would you like to meet my horses? And I said, I would love to. So she took me down to the corral, and there were three horses running around inside of this big corral. And she said, if you'd like to meet the horses the way horses meet each other, they don't talk, so they don't talk to each other. And they don't run up to a new horse and just touch it. So just stand back from the fence a few feet and don't talk to them and don't try and touch them yet. She said, just horses are extremely sensitive to people's state of mind, or they're very sensitive to horses' states of mind. And they can tell when you're caught up in your thinking and you're not really able to meet someone fully when you're caught up in your thinking. How true is that? How true is that? My wife used to say to me, you're not listening. And I say, yes, I am. I'm hearing your words. But the whole time she was talking, I was thinking about things, and she could tell, right? So my friend said to me, Dicken, you know what it's like to be in your thinking, but you also, I know you know what it's like when you drop out of your thinking or drop into a space of pure presence. She says, that's how you want to meet a horse. Right? If they sense tension, if we're caught up, uptight, and we have tension, the horse will sense that tension and you're not really welcoming. You're not really safe. And horses are very sensitive to tension. When they feel tension, they immediately, my friend was explaining, immediately want to release that tension. They'll shake or snort or scratch the ground or chew on something, immediately trying to release that tension and come back to a state that's free of tension. And so she said, just stand here. Yeah, it's no big deal, and drop in. So she said, and I'll just leave you here for a while, and you just drop in and give your attention to the horses. And she told me which one was the alpha horse and which one was the sort of second in the hierarchy and which one was third. So I just got present. Just stepped out of my using my mind like a computer. I just stepped into the now. Just got present. Just as a relaxed, open, aware, not concentrated, just relaxed, open, aware presence. And I looked at I gave my regard to the alpha horse. I just looked at this horse, beautiful horse. And it's running around. And she said, distance has nothing to do with this. Horses are incredibly sensitive to genuine presence. So I'm Metaphorically, I'm falling deeper and deeper into this quiet, the quiet of the now, the quiet of our being. And the horse suddenly stops running and looks at me. And I'm just present, no agenda, no thoughts about what to do or how to do it, just presence, period. And the horse walked right over to the fence next to me, put its head over and looked at me. So now I'm sort of a couple feet away, just eyeball to eyeball with this magnificent horse. Boy, I got goosebumps. We were meeting. We were really meeting. Right? It's interesting to me when we get really present. Cats and dogs come right to us. Little kids come to us. We're safe. We're open. Right? We're welcoming. And after a while, I just looked over at the second horse and gave it my regard. And wouldn't you know, that horse stopped running around and walked right over behind, up close, but behind the other horse, and looked right at me. I'm meeting that horse, meeting this beautiful being to being, soul to soul. I look at the third horse, same thing happens, comes right over behind the second horse. So they're side by side, all looking at me. I'm looking at them. It was very peaceful. It was a real meeting. I was at peace. And my friend comes up and says, "You've met my horses. Now you can, if you want to, you can step up to the fence and you can touch the alpha horse, the one that had its head over, looking right at me." And I walked up and I just stood next to it for a while. And I mean, we were close. And at some point, I just felt inclined. I just touched him on the side of his head. And he sort of leaned into it. Just sort of leaned into it. So I pet him and then stopped and just had my hand on its head again, and again leaned into it. And it was spontaneous. I just stepped up closer and sort of put my arm over its neck. And now he's not leaning against my hand, he's sort of leaning against my face, and we're just sort of cheek to cheek. It's very intimate. That's, in my mind, where intimacy happens in a relationship. We're present to someone fully with no agenda, no judgments, no shoulds. We're safe, and we can sense that. And the second horse started to come up closer, and the first horse says, "I'm not done connecting with this guy yet," and sort of pushed it away and came back. And so we just continued for some time. Incredible connection. There was one point when my whole sense of self dropped away, was so present, no self-consciousness. It was just awareness of everything, the smell, the horse, the feel, the touch, the feeling, the tenderness. Everything else disappeared. There was just that, and I teared up. It was so intimate and so beautiful. Really touched me. It's still now. It's really affected me. The power of pure presence. And horses just give immediate feedback, and it's nonverbal, so the words don't get in the way. We're not caught up in ideas and concepts as much. It's just a direct experience of what some would say our true self, awareness, presence, without the interference of concepts and ideas and beliefs. And then after a while, that horse walked off, and the second horse came up and was able to touch that horse and meet that horse that way. Well, I understood now my friend's love of horses and how she has told me that they have been her teachers. They have helped her learn about the difference between being caught up in thought and being uptight and being fully relaxed in the now and present, free of thought. And then how that wakes up our hearts, that deeper feeling, that feeling that connects us to people and to life. And I came home from that trip, and that just stayed with me. The power of presence really stayed with me. And I would look out my window at the birds, at the bird feeder in front of my front window. And I would drop in and begin to feel a sense of connection, intimacy with the birds. And I experienced that with trees. And then I started seeing that possibility of meeting anybody with that quality of listening presence, aware, silent, aware presence, with no agenda at all, to meet my grandkids with presence and how they respond to the safety, the warmth, the kindness, the tenderness that is exuded in true presence. Right? Seeing that with my wife and really understanding so much better why for so long she said, Dicken, you're not really listening. She was saying, you're not fully present. I can tell. I can tell you're caught up in your thinking. Right? So this has helped me have a very simple understanding about what it means to step out of thinking that's creating tension even on a subtle level, step out of thinking that's creating tension into pure thought, which is free of concepts. And then pure awareness, which is an awareness that's not identified with what we're thinking and feeling. It's an aware presence that allows thoughts and feelings to come and go and to flow and to not be a problem, no matter what we're thinking or feeling. It's all free to flow in presence. It's an unconditional love, this presence. It's a welcoming presence. It's very ordinary. It's very ordinary. It's very natural. And it's available to every one of us. And that when we step into or drop into this presence, it awakens our heart. And what I mean by that is we begin to have feelings that are welcoming, tender, kind, without even trying to be that way. See, trying to be that way is more thinking. It's a free gift. The intelligence of life brings us exactly what we need when we're open to it. When we're fully present, we're open to that deeper intelligence. And it breaks through into a sense, a felt sense of being connected to life. So I thought I'd share that metaphor with you because it had such an impact. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay. Bye-bye.